What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I will be reviewing Buried. So Buried came out in 2010. It was directed by Rodrigo Cortez, and it stars Ryan Reynolds in one of his first star-making roles. He was already a well-known guy in Hollywood. People liked him and stuff, but it wasn't until this movie that people actually sat back and went whoa, this guy this guy is the real deal. So Buried tells the story of a guy named Paul Conroy who wakes up to find himself in a wooden coffin buried underground. And we spend the next hour and a half with Paul trying to figure out what is going on here. How am I going to get out? Will I survive? Who put me here? Why am I here? What am I going to do? Something you guys may not know about me is that I actually am extremely claustrophobic. I do not like being stuck in tight spaces, small spaces, or spaces where I can't see anything, especially if I feel that there is a threat present. But for some reason, despite that, I am always just attracted to movies like this. I'm very attracted to captivity thrillers. Whenever I see a movie, sometimes I don't even need to see what it's about. If it's classified as a captivity thriller, I'm like, oh, yep, I'm watching that. I don't know what it is, because I am extremely claustrophobic, and you'd think I'd be like, no, I don't really want to watch a movie that's going to bring that out, but I do it all the time, and I love it. So how was Buried? Well, Buried is the best claustrophobic thriller that I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, first off, this movie cost $2 million to make. That's ridiculous. The average budget of a movie in Hollywood today is like $150 to $200 million. $150 to $200 million. This film was made for $2 million. Yeah. Also, where a lot of captivity thrillers take place, the majority of the film takes place within a very tight space. Normally, the beginning of the film, you're getting exposition, you're seeing the person's life, and then, they're thrown into the situation. And then at the end, either they get out or they don't. Either way, you normally see at least a little bit of the outside world in most captivity thrillers. With Buried, no. Literally, the first shot is him waking up in the coffin. You never see the outside world in this movie, ever. There's not a single scene of what is going on outside. Literally, and this is not an exaggeration, there's not a single cutaway, no flashbacks, no dreams, nothing. Literally just in the coffin the entire time. And it actually works. There's not a single moment in this movie where I was bored. There wasn't even a single moment in this movie where I was just, relaxed. This entire movie, I was just and I can't imagine how daunting it must be for a director to have to direct a movie like this, because you have nothing to work with. You have Ryan Reynolds and you have a coffin. But oh my goodness, Rodrigo Cortez directed the heck out of this movie. This is one of the most Hitchcockian modern day thrillers that we've had. And when I say Hitchcockian, I don't mean it just kinda somewhat reflects, Hitchcock and how he, was able to make you feel very claustrophobic. I hold it up to the same regard as a few Hitchcock films. And it's funny because who is this guy? Rodrigo Cortez, who is he? I bet you don't know who he is. What's up with him? And please, please do not overlook Ryan Reynolds' performance in this movie. Yes, now he's massive star. He's playing Deadpool and everything. Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, extremely successful movies. And he's great as Deadpool, alright? Don't get me wrong, but this is, this is my favorite Ryan Reynolds performance ever. He is so real in this film, and apparently the shooting process actually felt very real. There were many times where Ryan Reynolds was actually just laying there in silence, because they actually just had him laying in a coffin and just darkness around him. And surprisingly enough, I actually really cared about this guy. It astonished me how much you were able to learn from him, just from him being in this coffin. Like I said, there's no flashbacks. You don't even hear voices in his head of things from his past. You don't even hear that. I'm not gonna get into how exactly you learn so much about him, because I don't want to ruin any part of the movie for you, but you learn quite a bit. In fact, that's just the thing as a whole with this movie. They were able to do so much with so little. And I'm not just talking about visually what they were able to do, although yes, visually this film is stunning. I like the stuff they were able to do with this confined space. I really enjoyed what they did creatively with the lighting, because he has a lighter with him and it's like that would cast an orange glow, but then he has like this old cell phone that is very low on battery, and when you turn it on it's like a blue glow. So you had some really beautiful shots of combined like orange glow and blue glow, like, you know, half of his face would be blue, half of his face would be orange. I know to the average viewer they may not pick up, like they may not, you know, analyze it that much in depth, but when you have a movie that like the setting is literally just a coffin the size of a man and you're just in there the entire time, when like this stuff, you know, it sticks out to you a little more and it enhances the experience, because a big part of pacing is also making sure that visually your film isn't boring, and this film is far from visually boring. It's far from boring in general. The entire movie is surprisingly fast-paced. It's actually like a real-time thriller. You know, one of those, like the movie's an hour and 35 minutes long, and I'm pretty sure the amount of time he's in the coffin is an hour and 35 minutes. I think that's what the whole thing with this movie is. Like, that was one of the big marketing things when they were marketing this movie back in 2009. They were like, it's a real-time thriller. Is, you know, the length of the movie is also the length of the time that this guy's in the coffin. Emotionally, this film is crushing. There are, and it really pains me that I can't elaborate much because I want you guys to experience the film for yourself. But let's just say, I definitely cried. Yeah, there's a couple scenes. There are two scenes specifically in here where I was like, alright, now let's talk about the ending without really talking about the ending, because like I said, I can't spoil anything. I loved it. I loved the way this movie ends. I know a lot of people watch this movie and they're loving it, and then the end happens and they're like, what? 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 But then a lot of other people are like, perfect. Perfect ending. That is the best way, that is the best possible way you could have ended this film. And I am on that side of the spectrum. I don't think they could have ended this film better. It felt like it just fit perfectly with what they were going for and what they were trying to do. So yeah, why does no one talk about this movie? Like, seriously, you'll see it pop up on, like, I don't know, like a top 10 claustrophobic movies list, but that's such a specific and small group. Why isn't the mainstream media talking about this movie? Ryan Reynolds is a humongous actor. When he shot up into stardom from the Deadpool films, obviously people went back to look at his filmography. Why is no one talking about Buried? This is like his best performance ever. Please, if you have not seen Buried, watch it now. It does not drag at all. It is a non-stop thrill ride, and you're probably going to be just as astonished as I was at just how much they can do with such a small space. As I've said in the past, there are movies that I give A+, but that does not mean that I will give an A+, but that does not mean that they are like 100% perfect. Buried is going on the list of 100% perfect movies. You may not agree, but for me, this film was just there's nothing wrong with it. There's just nothing wrong with Buried. Like, I was just watching it and I was like, I can't think of something that I didn't like. So let's grade this thing. I am going to give Buried an A+. So guys, Buried, have you seen it? What did you think about it? If you haven't seen it, fix that right now. Let me know down in the comments. Also, what is your favorite Ryan Reynolds performance? Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.